So no big surprise, it's me and it's Stocks. We're going to do this podcast yet again. And yet again, we haven't had a good season, Stocks, at all. Yeah, that silence tells you how excited we are about this. We're so excited about the league, but we just can't figure out this year's edition of Madden. Whatever we do just doesn't seem to work. People say, run the ball more. Well, we run the ball, we still lose. Don't throw so many picks. Well, that's harder said than done, but you try not to throw as much, and then, they stop your run. And so I don't think this game's for me, Stocks. I'll just go on a limb and say that now. Being 1-5 and never really made the playoffs in this league, never really been a threat. I have fun with this, but I just pray that Madden 13 maybe is my game.
Yeah, well, in my case, 2 seasons ago, I'm doing the same thing that I'm doing now. And
it was working, and it's not
results
working.
are 360. 2 seasons ago, Breeze was one of the top quarterbacks and was not throwing half the interceptions. And I don't think I would be getting worse by playing more. So it's like when I play golf. When I play more golf, I get better.
Yeah.
In this case, it doesn't make sense why some of the things that have going on, and it's a debate that's really puzzling right now in this league.
Talk about debate. What do you think? All Madden or all Pro?
In my case, I wanted something to change.
No.
So I would definitely go, kick it down a notch, I guess.
It's not even down a notch. They're different, but I wouldn't say one is better than the other, or this one's so much better than the other. It's different. It's a different style almost. So you have to play a different way. I should preface it by saying that me and Stocks do play in a league that's all pro. So we do have the qualifications to kind of judge each. This league is all Madden. In the other league that we play in, it's all pro. So we kind of get the best of both worlds. And the biggest downgrade I've seen from going all pro is the defensive line seems to get, the offensive line doesn't seem to protect as well. I don't know if you've seen that, but I've noticed the offensive line kind of gives up a lot more on all pro. But that being said, that's about the only knock or the only thing I've really noticed that's worse than all Madden. The thing I've noticed on all pro that's a lot better is there's less interceptions that are lucky interceptions.
Yeah, and in my case, I have the Packers in the other league on all pro, and I have Breeze in this one. And
2 elite quarterbacks in real life.
The numbers don't even match up, and they're similar quarterbacks, in a lot of ways. So it's not like I'm using one quarterback that's not even in the same league as Breeze. I played with Rodgers almost a half a season now, and he's only thrown 6 or 7 interceptions the whole season. So I'm not doing anything different. So that's why it's like night and day.
Right. I mean, it's not. A lot of people say, well, there's no defensive games. If we go all pro, it's gonna be just an arena football style game. It seems. I know the Vikings had that concern, and some other guys have voiced that concern. They're kind of worried that if we go all pro, it's gonna be all offense, no defense. But I don't see that in a lot of my leagues. A lot of online franchises are even all pro now. You look at them, and it has nothing to do with skill level. I mean, the other league that me and Stocks are in, we have a lot of skilled players in that league, I think. And I think it's a lot different. I think it's just different. And, hey, if it doesn't go through, that's completely fine. I think it's worth a shot to at least try to change it. At least try it out,
Yeah, it doesn't hurt to switch things up, in the aspect of the game itself, just to make it, different,
Yeah, I think the biggest misconception, and I'll go out on a limb here. I know Death by Eagles believes this, and I think he's kind of convinced some other people it might be true. They think if we go to all pro, that means we're going down a level. Or, like they think all pro is the best, the highest, and since we're the best league and we have the best talent, they think we're almost handicapping the league, I guess. No pun intended. Um, of oh well, we're gonna go down a level, we're gonna go down in skill. That's just gonna give the bad teams a chance to win. It's honestly just a different game. So I mean, that poll's up. I want everyone to vote on it because everyone is important in this league. So if you haven't heard about the poll, go into the chat room. Even if you don't ever go onto the boards very often, this one is important. So we'll get off the topic now, but it's really important everyone voices their opinion either way. I know me and Stocks have, I know other people have, but I think we only have 19 votes and we have 32 owners, so everyone should have a say, and so it's important. Is there any games that kind of stick out that you want to talk about from this week, last week, any week really?
Yeah, the Arizona Cardinals is putting up a decent year this year, and catching his game last week. He's at 6-0, and he beat a good Tampa Bay Bucks team in a close game, 34-31. Larry Fitzgerald, 12 catches, 258 yards. You can't ask for much more than that. I mean, that's crazy,
Yeah. Well, looking at the stats, the Washington Redskins, we really thought he was going to be a player almost, and his season hasn't gone anywhere close to what you'd expect. He's 1-5. He's got a big test with the Giants this week. What do you think about that matchup? Because we know he can play some. He's offensively he's third in first downs, excuse me. He's fifth in turnover ratio with +4, but yet he's still 1-5. And he's going to beat the Giants, and the Giants kind of fell apart. I mean, this is like his worst season to date, and that's bad. Well, I mean, that speaks to either how good he is or how lucky he is, however you want to say it. But he's still got a winning record, and we're calling it his worst season ever so far. So.
Well, it doesn't matter what he does really during the regular season. Now that he's on the map, that once he gets in the playoffs,
he's a different animal.
Yeah, exactly. So I doubt he's worried about the regular season.
Well, this kind of tells you how dominant of a player, especially in defense. He's first in allowing the least yards allowed on defense. He's first. He only allows 231 yards. That's it. Passing and rushing, only 231 yards.
Yeah, with that defensive line, I mean, he's an animal. Justin Tuck could be, definitely defensive player of the year. He's just the line is so hard to run against.
Well, do you want to hear some crazy numbers?
Let's get him.
He's third in passing yards, and for defensive passing yards. So he only allows 143 yards per quarterback per game. He doesn't allow over 100 yards rushing. So not only is he a great pass defense guy, he's pretty balanced. He's sixth in the league for allowing rushing yards with 88 yards per rush, or 88 yards total. That's total, man. I mean, that's really, really good. And the truth is, if he focused just on stopping one of them, maybe he could, but really he's a balanced defense, and I think that speaks to what he is. I want to speak a little bit about the Vikings. This guy, 5-1. I really don't know how he lost because he's playing out of this world with Ryan Mallett. Ryan Mallett is probably the MVP right now. If I was gonna give an award, to anyone right now, it'd be Ryan Mallett. A few seasons ago, remember when we talked about that? You challenged me. What quarterbacks in the first season that were on benches, not really playing, who could make an impact? And I said Tim Tebow. I said Terrell Pryor. I think Alex agreed with Ryan Mallett, and I said Ryan Mallett. He said Tim Tebow. And look at all these guys that we mentioned in that podcast. You can go back and date it if you want. I forget what podcast it is, but it's out there. It's on YouTube somewhere. You can look at it. We have it. Ryan Mallett, 17 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. And I just lost Stocks, so I'll get Stocks back here in a minute. But 17 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, and over 1,000 yards passing. And he hasn't done it. He hasn't done it. He hasn't done it against really easy opponents or a really easy division. The North is one of the toughest divisions, I think, in my opinion. I'm gonna bring in Stocks here. That noise is me calling him up. So Stocks is back with us now, and I'm talking about Ryan Mallett. Stocks, how he's got 17 touchdowns and only 3 interceptions.
Yeah, in his case is.
That's remarkable.
Yeah, it's remarkable. But Adrian Peterson is carrying, half the load or even maybe more. And the defensive side of the ball, he's playing really sound defense. And when you have that, the quarterback really doesn't have to do much. And when he does, he's not putting him in a position to fail really because you probably have a lot of third and ones and second and ones, and it's like, all right, pick your poison. Do you want AP or do you just want a nice quick out pass from Allen?
Well, we could all learn from a guy like this, especially I think me and probably you, Stocks. Maybe that's what we need to do. Maybe we need to lean heavier on the running back. I think you do a fair job of it. I know my end, I do not lean on the running back enough. So maybe that's a philosophy we're seeing. You see it with Eli Manning and the Giants. Now Ryan Mallett in the Vikings. He's making the timely throws when he has to, but he's not overthrowing a lot of things. And he's still got over 1,000 yards though. But
yeah, well, it doesn't hurt when you have a wide receiver in Dallas Strong with 35 receptions for 700 yards. His average catch is 20 yards per catch with 14 touchdowns. I mean,
we're in week 6, man. Week 6.
14 touchdowns. He's gonna break Randy Moss's record.
This guy is playing out of this world, man. Barring any injury, he's definitely a Super Bowl threat. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh yes, no doubt about it.
I mean, just forget that. Forget everything else. Look at the stats. Ryan Mallett's over 1,000 yards. Adrian Peterson's at 1,000 yards. Dallas Strong 14 touchdowns. He's got Peppers, who always explodes and makes impact on defense. The only loss he's had, and we should give credit to the Falcons, is a 49-42 loss to the Falcons in week 3. He won week 2 against the Packers. Week 4 against the Seahawks. Yeah, that wasn't the greatest opponent because he had me in the Seahawks. Okay, you can say, oh, that wasn't the greatest opponent. But he played the Giants and the Packers. He beat the Giants 38-31. That's an impressive win. Maybe I'm not an impressive win. I mean, he dominated me. That should be impressive as enough as it is. I mean, I know I'm not a great player, but he held me to only 6 points. And, with my offense, I expect to score at least 6, even though I'm an average player at best. Would you say he's the Super Bowl favorite right now?
Right now, yeah, you have to put him at the top of the charts because he's just, he's been there. We know about this person and we know his skill level, and so with that, he's just a deadly combination.
Well, I want to go back and I remember the Giants and the Eagles were playing. I don't know if you heard about this, Stocks, but the Giants was gonna kick a field goal and win the game, and then the Eagles got kicked for doing for excessive use of because he jumped off sides too many times, and he got kicked from the game, and so the Giants couldn't kick the field goal and win the game, so it ended up 14-14 a few weeks ago, and so that's where that one tie ended up. So if we take that off the board, because he would have won, he was 20 yards out for a field goal the last second, so there was no time left, and the Eagles jumped offside to try to whatever he was trying to do, block it, whatever. Some people, think he was doing it on purpose. I won't speak on that, but he should be 4-2 right now. So you got Denver Broncos 5-0, or 6-0, excuse me. You got the Vikings 5-1. For all intents and purposes, the Giants are 4-2. There's other guys out there too. I know I'm missing. Eagles have a good season. the Arizona Cardinals having a terrific season. You know,
Jets
yeah, Jets.
4-1.
So the Cardinals are 5-0. So we talked a lot about parity in this league, and maybe it's because again, me and Sox haven't had the best year. Maybe we're falling off the ladder a little bit. You know, we're gonna hit our heads here, but because I'm definitely hitting my head against a rock, trying to figure out what I'm doing wrong and trying to fix it. But I think there's no answer. At some point, you know, I got to just own up to what kind of player I am. But these guys, we used to talk about parity. There's not much parity in this league anymore. It's top heavy with domination this year. You know, I think that speaks to how great our league is in a way, because we can have parity one year, domination one, you know, and then all once you think a guy's counted out. You know, we saw Oakland make strides to be a dominant team again this year after having a really disappointing year. You talked about the Jets earlier, and I want to talk about this matchup, Jets versus Browns. It's a really intriguing matchup. And I'll tell you what, if the Browns weren't in the division he's in the playoff in any other division. The guy is 4-2, really turned around his team. He has Tony Romo at the helm. Jamal Charles has 12 touchdowns. He's not doing it with household names, if you will. Demarius Thomas is his number one guy, averaging almost 20 yards a catch. Uses Benjamin Watt, you know him because his Patriot days.
Yep.
So he's not using household names, and if he is, he's using older guys who may be on the brink. We wouldn't exactly call Tony Romo elite. He's probably somewhere in the mix between elite and average. He balances in between both of those at least. And he's got some injuries. Probably the toughest division in all of gridiron in the Pittsburgh Steelers division. You know, the Ravens division. The Bengals are in there, and now the Browns. And the Browns are 4-2. I think if he's in any other division, he probably wins it outright.
Oh yeah, we don't know too much about this player.
No.
He slowly, has worked his way into this league. Made some nice trades, for Jamal Charles, and so he's setting himself up, for some competition in that division, because we all know it's been the Steelers year in and year out. So maybe this player can give the Steelers a run for this division.
But you know what's really sad about that, Stocks? Somebody in that division is gonna, in all intents and purposes, he's gonna really fight this season and probably deserve a playoff spot. And you can't, you can only send so many guys in the wild card spot, and I think one guy's gonna miss out. We already see that the Bengals always wins the wild card from that position. So, are the Browns the odd guy out? Are the Browns gonna push the Cincinnati Bengals? Maybe the Browns win it. So that's it. It's great to be in a tough division, because I think it prepares you for the playoffs, especially. But on the other end, someone's gonna get cheated out, But that's the division you play in, and sometimes, like we talked about last year with the Bills making it, and they were like, oh, the Bills. Well, someone had to win that division. Just unfortunately, some divisions are tougher than others. What about this team, Stocks? We have to talk about this team. If we don't, he's definitely the comeback story of the year, in my opinion. The 4-1 Colts.
Yeah. It is remarkable, because the team hasn't really, made a big splash in moves. He still has this, basically the core piece of that, that team that's been there for years, and he's getting it done, with Peyton Manning, and Reggie Wayne, and so yeah, it's definitely a great sign for the bounce back that he's showing right now.
Yeah, you said it, and it's the most important thing. He's doing it with the same players. They're the same exact players. I mean, he didn't go out and make a big trade. Now, he did lose Peyton Manning last year in an injury, and I think that taught him a lot about his other players. I really did. I think that injury helped him for this season. as much as it hurt him for that season, because he had to rely on different guys. Maybe Joseph Adai. He learned what it is to have a bad quarterback. So when he had that good quarterback, he almost appreciated him even more. And now you're looking at the results. I mean, he's definitely improved that defense with some good picks. I mean, but I find it ironic that we never talked about this guy in a division, and maybe that was our fault, but he's really showing us that we made a mistake this year. Time of possession is his biggest weapon, it seems. He's using a Peyton Manning approach, kind of, where I'm going to be very methodical about the way I approach a game. I'm going to be very deep in thought in the way I destroy a team, kind of. I'm going to audible out of things. I'm going to do these things, and he's really running a Peyton Manning type offense. He's controlling the clock. He's keeping the turnovers low. He's top 5 in first downs. Those are very Peyton Manning-ish type things. Being very methodical in the way he approaches the game. We have to talk about these trades that Manny's making. He's got Ray Rice now on stock.
Yeah, I know. I saw this trade, and I kind of shake my head with Manny now. Like it's. I don't know if he hits the panic button now, or I don't know what his train of thought is, but he likes to shake things up when things aren't, in his manner, and I don't know if that's the best way to go. Because you're just not getting that fluid.
There's no fluidity, is what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I don't know. He could be hurting himself. I think with all these trades, and I can see a few guys here and there, but. I mean, these are blockbuster trades.
Blockbuster. I mean, let me talk about some of these deals. He traded. I don't even know if you know this one. This is a relatively new one. It's Chris Cook, the corner, the really tall corner. In real life, I think he's with the Vikings, that kind of troubled corner. Really big, has all this potential, but never really panned out. He traded Justin Houston, the right outside linebacker, 79 overall, and a 3rd-round pick. That's what the Kansas City Chiefs gave Manny for A.J. Hawk.
Yeah, no. I just wouldn't do it. I mean, A.J. Hawk is not a playmaker, but he's a type of player that fits a system well in the 3-4. He's a type of player that's going to be around the ball all the time, in real life and in that.
He's a Hawk.
Yeah, exactly.
His name speaks for it all.
The league, and I mean, he's a tackle machine. His awareness is very, very great. I mean, he knows what's going on with the play. So to trade another player like him and just dismantle that defense is just, I wouldn't do it. I just wouldn't do it.
He makes another trade. This is the trade of Manny this week. All the trades, pretty much, any significant trade was made by Manny. It's Ray Rice, Miles, the wide receiver that he drafted, I think, last year. The Ravens drafted. He's an 89 overall. Good player. And then Tom, the safety. He's a Zbikowski, 80 overall, the strong safety from Baltimore.
Yep.
Is that how you say it?
Yeah, yep.
Zbikowski, that sounds right to me.
Yeah.
And he traded James Starks, Jordy Nelson, Nick Collins, a first-round pick, and the 3rd-round pick. And I should say I missed the 1st-round pick that Baltimore gave.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Ray Rice is a stud running back. I mean, he can do everything.
Yeah.
When you get rid of a Jordy Nelson and a Nick Collins.
Oh. Dude, you got X Defender up, right?
Yeah.
Do this for me. Click on Jordy Nelson. I'll click on Miles. 84, 89 overall, but let's forget the overalls. Look at the attributes. What's Jordy's speed?
88.
So Miles is a 92. What's Jordy's spectacular catch?
86.
Miles is a 82. Release?
80.
So that's where Manny wins out here by a ton. He's got 99 release.
Okay, what's his height?
He's 6'2".
Nelson's 6'3".
So Nelson wins the height battle. What about his
catch?
His catch? Let's see. He's catching 89.
Okay, so that's tall. That's close.
Let's see.
Catching traffic?
Catching traffic's 89.
87 here.
So that's
That's,
about,
that's a wash. Acceleration,
let's see, acceleration, 95.
91.
So he got him beat there. What about his route running?
89.
His route running for miles is 83. So Jordy's got him there. So if we recap, he's got a little bit of speed on Jordy.
What's his stats for the season?
Well, I don't think Manny's used him much, but he's got 13 receptions,
Yep.
276 yards,
Yep.
3 touchdowns.
What's his average? What's his average per catch?
Average per catch, 21.2.
Okay, so he's somewhat of a deep threat. Nelson's is at 17 receptions, 273 yards receiving, 16 yards average, and 3 touchdowns. So you look at these players; they're similar in a lot of ways.
What?
They're that tall, mid-sized wide receiver.
Yeah.
You know, who's got decent speed, decent hands. You know, decent route running. A guy that's going to be your number 2 wide receiver and have that once in a while big playability.
Yeah, in my opinion, at best these guys are equals, and I would even give Jordy that. I like a receiver who can run a route, and that guy only had 83, and Jordy was, and I like height, and Jordy's taller, and I think Jordy's a bigger receiver. He has a bigger presence, and so I give the edge to Jordy. But even if you were going to say that's equal, right? So you give Manny the advantage over James Starks for getting Ray Rice, definitely. Zbikowski for Nick Collins is laughable. I mean, Nick Collins is one of the best safeties in the game, hands down. And he's now let me just preface this. He's the best player being traded. Manny is giving up the best player. And yes, I said Ray Rice is in the deal, but overall, Nick Collins is a 95. So that being said, you're giving up the best player, the most draft picks, and getting a receiver that's pretty equal to Jordy Nelson. We just broke down the stats. And, I mean, you're getting Ray Rice, who's a slight upgrade. You're getting a downgrade in safety, giving up more draft picks, which, to be fair, they don't really mean much outside the top 15 because we're so late in the season. Still, I don't like the deal.
Well, my whole thing now is we go back a couple years.
Yep.
You have this roster that was, let's face it, a top 5 roster, as in players, and he slowly has just picked apart the best players on this team that were their playmakers. He's basically given up on playmakers, as in Finley, Matthews, Woodson, now Collins. You know what I mean? After a while, you can't fill those holes no more because you've depleted him.
I hope it works out for him. He also made a trade.
No, I do too. I hope it makes out for him, but it's just something I wouldn't do.
He also got a Mike Sims Walker, a 2nd round pick, a free safety who's a 74 overall, and a middle linebacker, Colin, who's a 80 middle linebacker for the 1st round pick he got from Baltimore. So he got Mike Sims Walker and a decent middle linebacker for a 1st round pick.
Sims Walker fan.
No, I'm not. I mean, obviously, Manny is. He's the. He was the best player in the deal, so obviously he thinks he is. Sims Walker, he's averaging 26 yards a catch. We don't know what Manny will do with him, but the Tennessee Titans he must have used him a lot downfield. I don't like him. I don't even prefer Roy to talk about him because honestly, Stocks, I don't like him enough where I wouldn't say anything good about him. So I'll let Manny do the talking for Mike Sims Walker with his stats, and if he wants to post a video. I really, really, really do not like Mike Sims Walker, so I won't say anything good about him. So I won't even try to, I won't do it with any, justification because I honestly don't like that guy.
Yeah, and my thing, the whole quarterback thing, I look at Aaron Rodgers' stats for this year. He's only got 9 touchdowns, 14 interceptions, 1,300 yards passing with a quarterback rating of 69.7. He's rated at 98 overall. Okay, his other attributes for throw power is 95. He's got a 92 throw accuracy, 93 short, 93 medium, 89 deep, 93 on the run. All these attributes are top 3 quarterback. I mean, if you want to rank them, you got the Breeze, Brady, Rodgers, Manning. You have those 4 or 5 guys with those attributes that are comparable. And when you put up stats with 9 touchdowns and 14 interceptions with only a quarterback rating of 69.7, it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to me.
I think that the thing to realize is that I think we're so late in the season. I fit better in other Madden before. I remember Madden 10, I played a lot better. Madden 11, I took a kind of step back. So I took a step back, I would say, in Madden 12. So maybe Madden 13 is my year. I honestly will say I'm not very good in this game. I'll even use the word suck if that's the word you like. I just don't feel comfortable playing this game. I don't think it's realistic. I think it is based off a lot of luck. I think it's based off a lot of stats that really don't matter in football, like jump, like spectacular catch, those type of things. I mean, I know spectacular catch is great, but to me, you should be able to catch a ball before you can. It just seems that spectacular catch means more than the actual catching in this game, which I find ridiculous. So you're saying a guy like Demaryius Thomas is better in this game than a guy like Wes Welker? Because Wes Welker is a better catcher, but Thomas is better spectacular. You know what I'm saying?
So basically in this game you're saying that Thomas is better than Welker, and it shouldn't be that way.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I know this is just a game, but the receivers don't fight for balls like they should. I mean, I'm sorry, I throw a lot of interceptions because when I watch Matthew Stafford and Calvin Johnson hook up, what Stafford does, I mean, I'm a football guy, I know, I might suck at Madden. What he does, he just lobs it up to Calvin Johnson, and you expect your receiver to make a play. In this game, the receivers don't make any plays. They don't play the ball. And so that's one of the biggest things. The super picks are unrealistic. So, okay, I suck at this game, but I guess we're playing some kind of Olympic competition. It's either high jump or, pole vaulting. I really don't know what we're doing, but it doesn't seem like football this year. It really doesn't seem like football to me.
No, something's definitely off key. I mean, we've been debating about it for a couple days now.
That's not me. A lot of quarterbacks with lower ratings. If you look at it, it's either quarterbacks with lower ratings or quarterbacks that can run. Look at it. You got Ryan Mallett dominating. You got, Tim Tebow dominating because he can run. You got Peter Newcomer, who's that draft pick who can run, who's a lot like a Cam Newton-ish type player. But then you got, Manning, who's doing pretty good. Yeah, I'll give him that. He's got 15 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Decent. But you got, Rodgers, Breeze, Tom Brady, Stafford, if you want to throw him in there. I don't even think Phil Rivers is having that good a season.
Yeah, you don't even hear about him, and he's considered a top quarterback.
You want to even put just look at the real NFL with the quarterbacks who made the playoffs. Even Matt Schaub, I don't think, is having a good year. So the stats don't seem to really speak to what the game can do. Because, like I said, the receivers don't play the ball, and that really, really irritates me. Because when you have a big receiver and you want to give him a chance to go and get the ball, you can't, because you either got to put it right on the money, or the corner just plays it. The corner plays the ball better than the wide receiver, and that should not be the way it is. You know how they always say you'll hear from a corner, how well does he turn and look at the ball? Well, the wide receiver doesn't have to turn and look at the ball in real life. The wide receiver already knows the route the quarterback wants him to run. it's either a streak or a fly route or you know, an out route or whatever, but he knows what that route is. The timing should be there with your quarterback. But it seems like the corners can almost predict quicker than the wide receiver in this game what's going on, and that's not that's not at all realistic.
I pulled up Philip Rivers' stats real quick. He's rated a 96 overall. He's 8 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, 1,600 yards passing. Quarterback rating of only 76.7. His major stats are 96 throw accuracy, 90 throw power, 97 short, 96 medium, 93 deep, and 84 play action. So the 3 throws that I look at are the short, medium, deep, and then with his regular throw accuracy at 96. He's a top 5 attribute quarterback. All those attributes match up to a top 5, you know, in that category. And how does he not have a quarterback, you know, better, you know, rating and the touchdowns to interception ratio? I mean, we just keep going through these quarterbacks, and none of them, at least one of them, can put up what his skill level is at.
Yeah.
And let's face it, I don't consider myself a bad player. I don't consider the Chargers a bad player. I don't consider the Patriots quarterback a bad player. I don't consider Rodgers, his team, a bad player.
Manny in previous years,
guys,
yeah,
are showing the skill levels that the quarterback is at with his attributes.
And I know Manny told me on the chat, Manny's told us on the chat that it's all about decision making. But the point is the receivers don't play the ball, and it irritates me to the core of you. Wide receivers are supposed to be the first one in sync with the quarterback. You know what I mean? So when I throw a ball, the wide receiver should be the first one to turn around. The wide receiver should be the first one to get there. I mean, if a corner beats them on pure speed or pure height, I get that. But these corners are making spectacular catches. They're diving around my wide receivers, or they're almost predicting, like, what my wide receivers are going to be way before it's going to be. And I understand corners like, you know, Darrelle Revis that have good, you know, play recognition, or maybe even a linebacker like, you know, Brian Urlacher, who's got good play recognition, make that super pick once in a while, but it happens way too much.
It happens to linebackers that have no business making a play on the type of play and the type of player that is getting thrown against. And in my case was a 2-yard check down to a running back that has, you know, 97 speed, 96 acceleration, and the simplest throw of a 2-yard out, which is a 2-step drop back, and it gets thrown 2 yards ahead of him, right to a linebacker. And it at the attribute of Breeze is that has no business. You turn on Sunday, you know, it doesn't happen, and it shouldn't happen with this type of attribute.
Well, let's just say, I'm not saying you're horrible, but let's say people are saying, oh, these guys are just complaining, or these guys aren't very good. That's the reason they think that. So let's go and do something a minute. Let's go into the standings. Let's look at the division leader, and just, I don't care what division we look at. You want to look at the Steelers division, the Colts are on top of his division, the Broncos on top of his. It doesn't matter to me. Let's look at a team that's undefeated. Let's look at the Arizona Cardinals. In a really easy, most people would say easy division. I don't think it's as easy as a lot of people say it is. Let's look at his quarterback, Kevin Kolb. He's got 5 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Doesn't even have over 1,000 yards. That tells me he doesn't really throw that much.
Look at the quarterback rating.
Quarterback rating, 125.
125.6.
But he doesn't throw that much. That's my point. You either don't throw very much, or because if you throw more than, I would say, 15, he doesn't have one game in the last 6 games he's played that he's thrown over more than 15 passes. Why do we have to manage our quarterbacks like they're rookies or like they're babies? Okay, look at real life. Drew Brees, what did he throw this season? He threw a ton of passes. Stafford threw a ton of passes. You know, Manning throws a ton of passes. The, I understand decision making and all that, but you either have to babysit your quarterback in this game, or you have to run a ton so your quarterback doesn't touch the ball. I mean, let's even look at the Vikings, who, we said probably the MVP quarterback candidate. I'll prove another point that I have. Let me see how many pass attempts he's had. Okay, let's see. Again, 2 through 6. He only had one game where he's went over 15. So let's see. He had his game against Manny. He doesn't throw 15. He threw 33 passes against the Falcons. That's a game he lost. He gets it back down to 19. He wins. He gets it even lower than that against a really good Giants team. He wins. He gets it even lower than that against me, which a lot of it, I'll admit, he was running the ball a lot because he was trying to kill the clock and be respectful to my, be a good sport about it. So he only threw 16 passes. So it seems to me, Stocks, you either have to you have to put your quarterback literally on a pitch count. Why?
We're playing football, not baseball.
No, there was only one game that I can find he threw over 20 passes, and that was a game he lost.
So you're going to take, you're basically saying you have to take the hands out of Rodgers, Brees, Brady, Mannings, and Philip Rivers.
No,
because of this.
It seems to be all timing throws. You can throw big throws. You can have that's why they're overlooking, he's got a good rating. Well, yeah, he only throws 16 times. He's only got to complete a couple dinky throws, and he'll have a good rating because he only throws 16, 17 times. You can't, your quarterback cannot be the centerpiece of your team.
All right.
Look, I'll challenge anyone. Go ahead. I'll post this on the boards. You can blow me up all over the place. Let's look at another quarterback, the Carolina Panthers, who has just barely the lead in your division. But let's look at I'm going through every division leader. Cam Newton. He's also throwing with some other guys, but let's look at Cam Newton. 8 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. Again, he threw, 28 passes, he wins by 10. 30 passes, he loses. 27 passes, he wins. 47 passes, he wins. Okay, but and they go, he threw over 20 passes. He's doing great. He's leading the division, and I don't want to take anything away from him. But you know what his record is? His record's 3-2. You're winning your division, and you won some games by throwing the ball, but you're 3-2. The really good teams, they manage their quarterbacks. That's what it seems to be to me. You have to babysit your quarterbacks.
All right.
Let's look at the Philadelphia Eagles really quick. Michael Vick. Running Michael Vick. Which I'll say running quarterbacks really help because the linebackers can't do the super jump as much because they got to be on spy because of your quarterback. But, okay. He throws 19 times, he wins. He throws 5 times, it was that tie. So,
we won't count that.
Can't count that. He throws 16 times, he wins. He throws 20 times, he wins, and he's just barely over 20 times in the one game, and he wins. He's got 22 passes. So it seems like if you throw under 20 passes or around 20 passes, you win. But if you throw any more than that, you either lose or you have the only
you throw 6 interceptions in one half.
Yeah. So I just went through a bunch of teams, and I understand that you can throw. Don't look at the quarterback rating because I judge the quarterbacks by interceptions and touchdowns. That's all I ever judge a quarterback by. But let's look at one more. Why not? let's look at the Broncos because he had the biggest discussion with us. So we'll be fair to him. Let's look at his stats. He's got Tim Tebow, so keep in mind he does run a lot with Tim Tebow. So that takes a linebacker out of spy. You got to do different things with your game plan. Look at Tim Tebow. 9 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Sounds good, right? 119 passer rating. That's pretty good.
That's crazy.
He's got 16 receptions. He wins. 49-24 against Atlanta. He has 22 receptions. He wins. He's got 39 receptions. Now he won because I think he's a great player and he makes the ball for a defense. 39 was his closest game that he played. He won 38-41. All the other games where he keeps it like 20-16, he dominates. The game where he won, he threw 11 of 16. You know what that game was? 49-24.
24 against a good Atlanta team.
That's the only loss by the Vikings this year. That was his only loss. He's 5 and he's 6-0 if that loss doesn't happen. Okay, his games where he dominated, he was just either under 20 or he was a little bit over 20. He was right around the 20 range. The games where he goes over 20, he just barely wins. Even though he wins, but like I said, he's a great defensive player. I mean, he's one of the best players I've seen in this game. So it just seems you have to watch your quarterback and put him on a pitch count, and it's just ridiculous to me why you have to do that. You can't have a quarterback-driven team, and I'm a passing guy. Obviously, that's why I'm so hot about it, because I want to pass. I got Kelvin Johnson, Mike Williams, but I got to babysit Matthew Stafford in the process of it. Oh well, I've thrown 15 balls. It's time to give LaShore a chance, even though I got 2 6'5" guys. You got 2 tight ends who massive wingspans who can run all over the field, who are big and strong. But you got to put you guys on pitch counts. I mean, I don't get it. I really don't.
Yeah, it's.
I know we went off a little bit, but that's been boiling at me for a while, and it leads back to it though. It's not just us. We're thinking about going all Madden or all pro. That's a discussion. That's because of the interceptions and what we've been talking about. People are getting upset about it. That's because of the interceptions. And I mean, it's not just us. You could, but so anyways, that's that. I like to. You want to talk about anything else? I think we're about done.
Yeah, that should be about good, buddy. We'll leave it at that.
Hey, I'll just say, man, I'm not trying to prove a point like I want to be great. I know I'm not great in this game. This game is not for me. And maybe Madden 13 will be good for me. I kind of given up on being good. I'll finish out my seasons. I'll try to win, but I don't have any high expectations. This isn't a ploy to get all Madden or this. I'm just pointing out stats. That's what we do in the show. It looks like you honestly have to have your starting pitcher when he hits 20 to 25 range. That seems to be the average. 20. The average was 20. You win a game. 20 to 25. Chances are, you lessen your chance of winning the more you throw, basically. And so you're telling me I have to have a starting pitcher, a relief pitcher, and then somebody to come in and close it out? Maybe, but so my running back has to be my relief pitcher. Then I have to bring in the hammer back to hammer out, into the fourth quarter so I can win a game. I don't know what. I mean, I'm a Lions fan. I watch the Lions all the time. They threw 30 to 40 times a game, so it's hard for me to be like, oh, I got the Lions. They're built to throw, but I got to put Matthew Stafford on a pitch count. Or you got one of the best quarterbacks in the game of football today, but you got to put him on a pitch count. Everyone's going to point at ratings. I'm not talking about ratings, because some of these guys, one of, I can't remember, Ryan Mallett, I think it was. I looked at his stats. He was 11 for 16. Well, of course his ratings are going to be good. He was 11 for 16. That's a great percentage. I'm not saying it's not. But he only threw 16 passes, you know?
Yeah, what happens if he throws, 35, 40 times on a consistent basis?
We saw what happens if he throws more than 30 times a game. He loses. That was his one loss.
So it's like the computer has it out for a throwing quarterback.
Yeah. I know you can throw, but you can't throw consistently in this game and win. You just can't.
Alright, I guess we'll leave it at that, man.
There it is, man. Alright, guys, peace out. Hey, if I'm wrong, tell me, Hit me up, boom me up, whatever you gotta do. Just tell me, because I'll defend it until I'm blue in the face. I mean, I'm looking at stats here. So, bring the arguments. Keep them coming.
Alright.
Alright, man.